Hi students, I am Bazi from Meslova Dizzy Classroom. If you observe generally in our school premises or in our gardens or at our homes or on roadsides, we may see different types of plants and trees. Some are very large, some are very small, some are very giant trees like banyan and peepal. If you observe a giant tree like banyan, at early mornings we hear number of songs of birds and we hear different sounds from the birds. Like we may see the birds like crows, koels, mynas, sparrows, and rarely we may find the bulbul or kingfisher, or rarely we may find a woodpecker, and we hear almost all these types of sounds of birds at early morning. And also they eat different types of fruits, insects, and different types of leafy material on plant on the tree, and some may collect the nectar and some may nest in the tree. In the same manner, if you see different organisms like the butterflies and the bees collecting nectar, we also find insects like ants on and around the trees, grasshoppers and caterpillars eating leaves, termites and beetles are eating the wood matter of the trunk, and cicada and other number of insects, they may suck the sap from the plant. We also find certain spiders weaving their web on the tree to catch their food. Reptiles like lizards may creep on the plant and they also find their food and shelter. Rarely we may find snakes, and mammals like squirrels and bats are also found on the tree, and some other plants are also may find on or around the tree, especially certain mosses which are grow on the barks of the trunk and at the roots level. If you see different varieties of herbs and shrubs creeps on the tree, certain fungi like mushrooms may grow under the shades of the tree during rainy seasons. Lichens are also found on the barks of the tree. At the base of the tree, at its root level, we may find the different types of fallen leaves on the ground, in which different types of insects and number of varieties of ants and their colonies we may find. Different types of burrows of rats or burials of different organisms we may find at the root level, and the earthworms doing their job very silently under the soil of the roots. At micro level, we may find different types of protozoans, algae, fungi, bacteria and many more microbes in and around the soil and around the tree, and almost all they doing their job very silently. Yes, in this way you find different varieties of organisms we may find on the tree, and all those organisms make tree as their home. It's a natural gift to survive an organism. Like we are in our homes, we also get everything at our home, that is the habitat. If you cut the tree, what happens? All these may lose their homes. No doubt, some may die, some may change their place, some may migrate from one place to another place. Like we lose our homes during road extensions or any government developmental projects. If we lose our home, what happens? The same thing will happen to the all the organisms which live on the tree. The organisms must get their nutrition or food, water, shelter and protection, all they are getting from those places which we called as habitat. Like we are getting all these things at our home, we call it as habitat. How many of you think that where do these plants get their food? They do certain job to prepare their own food material, like our parents do certain job or work or business to survive. In the same manner, plants also they do certain job. This doing certain job or activity in its habitat is called as niche or niche of that organism. It's a special role of an organism, how it's playing its role or live, behave in that habitat, that is ecological niche. We know that plants prepare their own food material by using sunlight as energy resource, and it absorbs water from the soil and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and combine together and produce a new product, that is glucose or carbohydrates, which is as a food resource. That means the tree depends on certain factors like air, water, light, and also it depends on soil to support, and all these things are non-living things and we called it as abiotic factors. In the same manner, the organisms are on the tree also they depends on each other to survive. Like us, we breathe, we drink, we eat, and also it depends on different conditions of the environment which greatly influences on our behavior, especially various seasons. Hence, every organism on this planet will interact, interrelate and interdependent with each other to survive. That means the survival of species is dependent on other organisms and non-living things, and which we call as interdependency. The living world we called it as biotic factors, whereas the non-living world we called it as abiotic factors. The living part of the planet is called as biosphere, in which plants, animals and microbes are there. The interaction and interrelationship where it happens between living and non-living things at given place where energy flows and matter cycles is called as an ecosystem. This idea was first proposed by A.G. Tansley, a British botanist and ecologist, in the year 1935. It may be a small pond or a big tree or a giant home like our planet Earth or a droplet under microscope. Everything is considered as an ecosystem. In an ecosystem, it consisting of three major components, that is abiotic factors, biotic factors and energy components. The abiotic factors like all the non-living things like air, water, soil, rainfall, humidity or wind velocity, etc. Whereas biotic factors like fauna means animals, flora means plants and microbes, and energy components like gravitational force as well as solar energy, all are interact with each other to control itself, and it is very difficult to study at its giant level like a planet Earth as a whole ecosystem. Hence, due to abiotic factors, the ecosystem develops in different ways, in different places, in different conditions. If these are not influenced by man, we call it as natural ecosystems. The total earth, if you observe, it has two parts, one is water and another is land. If the ecosystems present on land, we called it as terrestrial ecosystems. If it is in water, we call it as aquatic ecosystems. On land, if you observe, different types of conditions vary from place to place, and on those conditions, based on those conditions, this giant land ecosystem, that is terrestrial ecosystem, is further divided into different zones and different categories like grasslands, savannas, deserts, polar regions, tundras, and forest, caves, valleys, and many more regions on the land. We see different types of ecosystems have different types of conditions and different types of biotic and abiotic factors. In the same manner, the aquatic ecosystem is completely related to water, in which the complete water is divided into both fresh water and saline water, that is salt water. That is oceans and seas, we may observe that ecosystem is different from freshwater ecosystem. In the same manner, the freshwater ecosystem, it consisting of standing water as well as running water. If you observe the standing waters like wells, ditches, ponds, and different types of lakes, we may observe. And if you see the running waters like rivers, streams, we may find, and these type of ecosystems are different. And in the same manner, the saltwater ecosystem, which is present in oceans as well as in sea. These are different types of ecosystems which are classified based on human interference. All these ecosystems on planet Earth vary from place to place, vary from ecosystem to ecosystem due to its diversified distribution of biotic and abiotic factors. In the same manner, if the ecosystem is controlled by us, means if the ecosystem is controlled by human beings. For example, if you see the aquarium at your home, or it may be find in your school reception, or you may find in various places of hospitals, or it may be on zoos and different types of parks. Different types of fish are grown on that aquarium, which is a glass jar. Different types of fish are grown under certain conditions, which is controlled by human beings. The aquarium is an artificial ecosystem because it is controlled by human being. In the same manner, if you see the aquaculture, where we grow different types of fish, prawns, crabs, shrimp, and varieties of fish species for our food, that system is also controlled by human beings, and which is also called as artificial ecosystem or man-engineered ecosystem. If you observe, different types of crop varieties are grown by human beings in agriculture, and this is also man-engineered system or man-controlled system, hence we call it as artificial ecosystem. How this ecosystem is balanced itself? For that we must know about its structure and we must know about its function. The same tree, if you observe, different types of organisms are distributed in various places of the same tree, from the roots to the top of the canopy. In the same manner, each and every ecosystem have its own biotic and abiotic factors. The biotic and abiotic factors are vary from place to place. Different types of abiotic factors, which includes the climatic factors like light, temperature, wind velocity, rainfall, humidity, etc. And in the same manner, if you observe the physical factors or medium factors like air, water, soil, and different types of chemical factors like organic materials and inorganic materials which may find in and around the ecosystem. The energy components, if you see, the gravitational force and the solar energy, and which acting as a radiant energy and which influences the production of food in an ecosystem. In the same manner, the biotic factors includes different types of plants, animals and microbes. We call it as the flora, which means the plants. The flora means all the green plants which prepares their own food material by the process called photosynthesis, and we call it as producers or autotrophs. If you observe in our daily life, we eat different types of fruits, nuts, vegetables and leafy vegetables and different types of plant varieties and plant products. Where do we get all these things? Yes, we are getting all these things only from plants. Hence, they are called as producers. And fauna. Fauna means all the animal groups, including human beings, which doesn't have any ability to prepare their own food material, but we are directly or indirectly depends on plants for our food resources. We called ourselves or we called as consumers, and we also called as heterotrophs because we depends on others for food. You know, if you observe different types of animals and even us, we are eating different types of varieties of food. And also if you observe a goat or a cow or a lizard on the wall, or if you observe a cat or a dog or a rat at your home and squirrels on the tree, if you observe, they have different types of food habits and food varieties. They choose different types of food, and certain may eat grasses or certain may eat plants or certain may eat the leaves or certain may depends on insects and certain may feed on other animals and certain may hunt and grab the food. In this way, different types of organisms have their food habits. Depends on these food habits, the intake of food material, the organisms are also different. That means if any organism which may depends on veg material or plant material, that means grasses, leaves, stem or any other plant products, we call them as herbivores. If you observe the cow, goats and certain rabbits, all are herbivores. In the same manner, certain eats only meat as their food material, certain grab the insects, certain hunt and catch the prey, and those organisms we called as carnivores. Like if you observe a dog in the street, it eats only the meat. And also in the forest, if you see the lion hunts the prey. And different types of lizards, they are depends on insects, and all these are carnivores. If you observe, certain animals eat both type of food material. Like us, we humans also eat, and the rats and squirrels, they are also eating both plant material as well as animal material or meat, and we call them as omnivorous, and all are consumers. In the same manner, the microbes which are depends on dead and decay matter, after death of the plant or animal or any other material, the microbes feeds on those materials, hence we called as decomposers or detritus organisms. The biotic and abiotic communities vary from place to place, hence it change from ecosystem to ecosystem. That means the conditions plants and animals and microbes present in desert is different from forest, and then it different from polar region to pond, or from pond to oceans, or oceans to rivers, and it may change from rivers to mangroves also. Okay students, we will discuss in detail about different types of ecosystems and how it works and how it's carry its function, and how the producers, consumers and different types of microbes distributed in various types of ecosystems like forests, deserts and mangroves in next class or in next time. Until then, bye bye.